Happy New Year's, everybody. I'm so glad you've joined me today for Receive the New Year's Energies, a meditation, wisdom, and realignment. So, have you ever wondered what key tasks will create a better reality for you? I mean, fundamentally, that's what I want to help you with. Create those building blocks so 2016 is really going to work for you and not against you. So you're in the right place if you want to learn about the healing energies coming to Earth this year. You enjoy personal awakening. You are open to learn why you were successful last year. Because if we don't take in our successes, really understand how we created them, it gives us less power to create more successes. You are open to learn why you had failures or life challenges. And by failures, and the reason why they're in quotes, is every so-called failure is really an opportunity to learn something. So you want to heal your false self and embrace your authentic brilliance. So as we look at the lessons from our so-called failures, we then can change and grow and embody more of our brilliance. So you're in the right place if you're open to a more quantum reality of energy and consciousness, where what you once thought was impossible can really happen. And we're really going to put together an energetic grid of the quantum reality of what you want to create in 2016. And you believe there is a spiritual wholeness within you, and you want to learn how to embrace that wholeness even more. So a little bit about me. Again, my name is Carolyn Eberly, and I've kind of combined three worlds. The world of mental health counseling. I'm a licensed professional counselor, and I've combined it with the energetics and the trauma work and the body awareness. And I also do something called horse-initiated psychotherapy, where the horse acts as a healer for the person and helps you awaken more to your wholeness and your gifts. I've studied at the Barbara Brennan School of Healing and did their teacher training program. I was actually at the Brennan School for 6 years. I'm a Qigong teacher. I've studied Reiki 2, healing touch, massage. I've been a meditation teacher and studied many different forms of meditation. In fact, I was 14 when I did my first meditation class. I've traveled around the world studying spirituality. I'm an author of the book Explore Mind, A Map to Freedom. I've got 2 other books on the way at the editor coming out. I'm a somatic body-centered trauma trained therapist. I'm a brain science enthusiast because if you can understand how the brain works, you can understand how to create a better life for yourself, because your brain creates a template that makes it hard to change. And if you don't change, you can't change your world. I'm a former Washington, D.C. lobbyist. I was a lobbyist for the underprivileged and the disadvantaged in DC when I first graduated from college. I've worked for the Asia Foundation as a consultancy doing women empowerment programs in Asia. And I've started my own school, the Mind, Energy, Body School of Transformation. And fundamentally, I'm just a consciousness nerd. I am so excited to help look at how energy is consciousness, and it's the physical medium. Subtle energy is an actual physical medium that connects the mind with the body. So in this training, we're going to be talking a lot about what are the energies coming to the earth in 2016 and how does that interact with your own personal sense of self and consciousness, and how do you move forward in the world given all that? So what else we'll do today is I'll come up with a very detailed plan for creating a strong 2016. We'll place that plan energetically, really place that plan, your unique individuated plan for 2016 into your energy field, energy template. Sounds harder than it really is. We'll talk more about that later. How to assess last year. So I'm going to help you assess last year in a manner where you actually create the foundation for an amazing 2016. There's a way to assess our past that rewounds us, and there's a way to assess our past that invigorates us and motivates us to achieve and embody more of our wholeness. We'll talk about how to transform some of those negative patterns that held you back in 2015 and really build that energetic template for success in 2016. I'll also talk a little bit about my 5 spiritual laws. They really are the foundation for how we manifest in the world. And I'll actually offer you a special bonus offer to take what we talk about today and take it deeper into a home study program, an academy for change, to help you even embody this work a little more. So some housekeeping notes. Please have a pen and paper ready for notes. And you might need 3 pieces of paper. We're going to be really designing a unique individuated plan for yourself. And stay to the end for that special offer and bonus packages. You'll actually receive even more benefits if you stay and receive those special offers and bonus packages. And after the call, you'll get a replay because I'm covering a lot of materials. And whenever I do a webinar, I really enjoy having that replay to refer back to in case I miss something. So the call will last about 55 minutes. And I'd like you to stay to the end and really feel free to email me questions after you finish it. It's going to be hard for me to answer questions in the moment. But if you will email me any questions or clarifications that you need at the end, that would be great. I look forward to answering those personally with you. And it's a way for us to have a little more personal contact and time together, so I do offer that service to you at the end of the call. So a little bit about me, my story, and like most of us, our story, our wounding, our pain actually created our gifts. And here's a picture that a student gave me, a beloved student who never met me, but she drew this painting. And I teach about learning how to transform the darkness and embody the light of your wholeness. And you can see how that little girl is in the darkness, but there's light of who she really is wanting to come through. And she said she drew this for her teacher, and she didn't know who her teacher was at the time. So when she presented this to me on the first day of class, I was shocked because there's a picture of me as a kid. The same dress, the shoes, even the little barrettes in the hair. And the reason why I show this to you is because life is so magical and synchronistic. In 2016, there can be even more magic and synchronicity that can come into your life. And I'd love to spend this time with you, helping you learn how to do that even more. We're all intuitive naturally. It's just about awakening more to those inner gifts, that inner intuitive tracking that can lead us more fully and cleanly on our path. So let's begin and just jump right into it. So what are the energies coming to Earth this year in 2016? Well, I'm going to talk about that in terms of 3 things. One is the energies that I have been feeling coming into Earth. And there's good and there's bad, right? So what I feel coming to Earth right now, and there's almost a sense of urgency that I want to invoke within you, because there is this race going on. And 2016, this race is going to be hashed out even more. And the race is that there's this light-dark split. There's a power struggle between who's going to win, the darkness or the light. And what I have found when I see the energies, there's this clear, clean power, anything goes. I will crush and destroy anything to have my way on the dark side. But what I feel is lacking in those who are awakening to the light within them and have clear aspirations and of helping heal themselves and heal the world and be a positive force is there's not as much power being embodied in the light as there is power being embodied in the darkness. So there's a sense of urgency. And so I really want to call upon you to find the power in kindness, find the power in healthy love, find the power in healing, and really have so much power that when darkness comes at you, that you don't collapse and let it overwhelm you, that you instead get the internal, healthy, kind, loving power, but strong power, which sometimes will mean you have to learn to set boundaries. You will have to learn to say no. You will have to learn how to ask for what you need. I just did a meditation and I was looking at this distortion that I was feeling in my energy field through my belly button area. And the belly button area is rich energetically in terms of it connects you to your higher self and to the oneness of all. I actually teach a healing technique called the centered oneness that helps shift the energy through the belly button. And when I was doing this, I realized that there was a distortion in that I didn't really, as cleanly and clearly and strongly as I could have, ask Spirit to really demonstrate and show healthy love toward me. And I looked at how that mirrored how I didn't expect that of others all the time. So part of claiming your power is really learning how to set boundaries and ask for what you need. For instance, ask for the universe to show you healthy love. And if unhealthy love and unhealthy power comes at you to smash you or hurt you or sabotage your success, it's really up to you to cultivate the internal healthy power. Not negative defenses, and we'll talk more about that later, but really healthy power within you. And that means to find others in your community that have the same intention. Find awake partners to be with, community, and really foster your own awakening. So that's what I see happening in the world in 2016, this fight between light and darkness, and that right now the energy of darkness is much more powerful than those who are holding light and positive intention for a better world. There's just the intention, but not the strength and the force behind that intention. Healthy force. Dark has no problem using unhealthy force. Light needs to find more power and healthy power. And then astrologically, I'm not an astrologer, so I'm just going to touch on this briefly, but it is supposedly the year of healing too. It's the year where you set down the template, the path, the structure, so that you can then in the following year start implementing and walking down that road, that path toward health and healing and embodiment and positive creation. What's so cool about the energies coming to Earth this year is there's a lot of healing powers, but you have to know how to receive them and be present with them in a way that affects your current sense of self. Right? Because when dark energies, if you look at the picture, what we think we are and what we are, dark energies can shift us into a false sense of self and a collapsed state where the healing energies coming to Earth, and even as I'm talking now, I'm really getting even more of a download of what's happening. We have to, part of that power is claiming who you are, even when somebody stands up or a part of your ego stands up and tries to knock you down. So astrologically, it's about creating the structure that you will follow in subsequent years, a strong structure. You think of a building. If the building doesn't have a strong structure and a foundation, it's going to fall down. So create that structure in your life this year. And then the year of the monkey is in Chinese astrology, and it kicks in on February 8th. And the year of the monkey, the characteristics of the monkey is that they're intelligent. They can be kind of hyperactive and strong. They can work as a group, but they can also be individual. And they can be individuated and not, and yet still be part of the group. And they're joyful and playful. And they have inventive, witty intelligence. They have a clear mind. And so that if those characteristics are part of you, it's going to be easier for you to embody the energies this year. And if they're not part of who you feel you are to be, I want you to explore, when we put together the personal plan, how to embody those positive characteristics. And also be careful of the darker side, the dark shadow side of the monkey's qualities, because they can be kind of adolescent. They can be unscrupulous and untrustworthy and opportunistic and tricky. So that's part of the dark energies that are coming to Earth and that are here for you to make a choice around. So if you have the fear of being adolescent and childlike or untrustworthy or opportunistic or tricky, you're going to have to watch that throughout the year, because those energies will be charged as well, and you'll have to learn how to self-regulate into the positive qualities of the energies coming this year and move away from some of the negative pulls that can happen given the energy this year. So a little bit more about that. The influence of the monkey puts everything into flux. Things will get accomplished, but largely through personal and individual efforts. Group movements such as political upheavals or revolutions will not make a strong mark during this year. The cheeky animal bursts with exuberance, bringing a lightning fast pace and fantastical motivation to things that you embody. The monkey increases communication, humor, and wit, getting us through those stressful times with a little bit more grace and ease. Business can flourish, and risks tend to pan out. The monkey's gifts are the ability to find unconventional solutions to old problems. This is the time where you should dare to be different, and that difference will lead you to success. It's not about fitting into the box, it's about reshaping the whole concept of a box. In the year's energies, talk is fast and cheap though. So be on the alert for deceptions. There, like I said before, there could be deceptions within you, or other people could be trying to deceive you. So with much mental energy zapping around, everyone needs to rethink also their personal health, diet, and fitness program. And if you don't have a fitness program, now's the time to create it. So let me summarize the key points. Number one, light is a choice. It is only cultivated through identifying, then transforming the darkness within. And when that darkness shows up outside of you, and in the terms of this monkey, Chinese monkey energy, it can be deceitful, it can be tricky, it can be fast talking, it can be seductive, it can delude you into acting like it's a supportive force coming at you. So you have to really be strong and embodied in that light so you can identify the trickiness that might show up, identify the darkness that shows up outside of you, and really stand up to it and set boundaries and really own your own power. Number two, identify where you need a shift and what are your natural gifts. If you don't know where you need to shift, you can't really change and embody more of the gifts to come. You can't grow and really discover who you're meant to be. Because every year we can embody more of our wholeness, yet we can also shy away from that wholeness. So really, really part of identifying where you need to shift is knowing your natural gifts and your natural challenges. And then three, really align to make the inner changes and the self-growth that is needed to take advantage of the energies coming to Earth right now. And I think it's really important to create that support system, community, and a clear plan that will move you forward. And there's always the discussion, who wins the race? Is it the tortoise or the hare? And in the fable, it is the tortoise that wins the race. So I want you to be kind to yourself and think about a slow, I call it inchworm approach, where bit by bit you move forward instead of trying to make quick bounds and then you might jump back. So really, really think about being the tortoise, slowly moving forward, embodying the gifts along the way as you claim these amazing energies coming to Earth, but also the trickster energies that are out there. So what does this all mean? There are huge opportunities for you, huge opportunities for your business, for your more risky adventures. Yet there's some cautionary notes too. And the bottom line is, in order to benefit from the opportunities, you need to know what action you need to take based on your gifts and your personal challenges, your less skillful areas, so that those opportunities are actually brought to fruition in 2016. And so one of the tips I want to give you is I teach 5 spiritual laws, and one of the 5 spiritual laws is that your sense of self creates your reality. So if you're in your wounded self, if you're in your collapsed or defensive or angry, unkind self, then you'll create a less vibrant reality than if you're in your bigger, what I call the core being, the bigger CEO of your life. So as you go to embody the 2016 energies, and as we review in the plan that's coming up, your 2015 successes and so-called failures, I want you to think about how you can embody more of your wholeness, the big CEO of your life, and create less from your wounded self. Want that to be in the background as we move into the practicalities of putting together a written plan for yourself. So here are 2 pictures. One picture is the receiving meditator, right? The higher consciousness. So that's more flowing, abundant energy. And the picture below is of a grid, of an energetic grid. And that grid actually acts as a template for what is going to happen. It's kind of like when you go to the store and you put things in a shopping cart, you actually get to decide what you want to buy. And what we're going to do in the plan is we're going to decide what do you want to manifest and create for yourself, and put them in the metaphorical shopping cart, that energetic grid, so that they manifest throughout 2016. So I want to talk a little bit about foundational principles of manifesting a better year. So we've talked a lot about the energy coming to Earth and the challenges and opportunities of the energy coming to Earth. Now I want to help you just get some basic principles of how do you manifest a better year. and then we'll put together the plan for manifesting it. And one of the things I want you to understand energetically is that your intention and your emotions puts things into your so-called energetic shopping basket, your shopping cart. It puts them into your grid and they manifest in the physical form. How you deal with your emotions and what are hidden intentions are gonna manifest. So being clear about your intentions and the power of hidden intentions and the power of negative emotions have on creating either good or challenging things in your life is important to acknowledge. And what we'll do is I'll help you understand how do you discover hidden negative intentions and how do you shift negative emotions that could create a negative reality for yourself in 2016. And we'll talk about the energetic structures of manifestation and of consciousness. So again, energy is consciousness that connects the mind with the body. It is the physical medium that connects that mind with the body. And how that physical medium is structured ends up creating a manifestation in physical form. For instance, I wanted to manifest a healing center. So I really aligned my intention and my emotions around believing it has already happened. And I got clear about the healing center I wanted. And then I felt that healing center as, like something in my shopping cart, as a physical form in my energy field. And I felt it as an emotion and sensation in the body. And, within 2 weeks, I had manifested this amazing healing center. And if things don't manifest, I just want to say it doesn't mean you did it wrong. It just may mean more skillfulness is needed, or the timing's off, or maybe it's just not in your highest good for that to materialize just yet. So fundamentally what I'm saying is if something doesn't show up, there's a wall in the way of having it from showing up. You have to learn how to take down the energetic structure and the consciousness structure and the negative intentions and emotions. Those are aspects of the wall in the way of manifesting what you want. And you've got to become more skillful in taking down that metaphorical wall that prevents you from creating the 2016 that you want. And I'm going to give you lots of tips in the time we have together, but I also am going to give you an opportunity to take it one notch deeper in a special bonus offer at the end of this webinar. So you do have the skills to take down the wall, and you can keep getting more skillful at that process. And one of the things that can help you are these 5 spiritual laws that I teach. And again, I'll talk more about it when we get to the bonus offer I'm going to provide for you. But spiritual law 1 is your sense of self creates the reality. So I find the biggest wall in creating what we want is our sense of self doesn't match with the outcomes we want to achieve. There is a disconnect, a disresonance between who we feel we are and what we want to create. And so that needs to be addressed. It's also important to really embody your gifts and really know what your gifts are. Half of success is knowing what you're good at and also knowing what you're not good at and how you create a plan around dealing with what you're not good at. And I'm going to talk more about that because there's certainly things I'm not good at that I've had to really get better at addressing. And part of that process is knowing what your negative patterns are and your negative habituated responses to external challenge and stress. And that deals with, is your ego in charge and your defensive reactivity in charge and your negative personal programming? So we all have internal saboteurs that create blocks in our success. We have a false sense of self that can run our life. And as you get to know and have a relationship with your negative defensive reality and your false sense of self, you have more power to then change it. And so we're going to really look at that at deeper levels. So how powerful are you really? And I think that question is best answered is when you're being toppled over by stress. I love that image in the picture here. It's like when you're toppled over for stress, how do you show up in your life? Because it's easy to show up in our bigger self when life is more easy, simple, when people are telling us we're so good and things are going our way. It's a little bit more difficult to show up in our bigger self and create positive things during stress. So we're going to look at how do you deal with stress better when we put together your personal plan. And the way to deal with stress better is to really develop the internal skills of transforming emotional pain and life challenge to power. And the way you do that is to really understand how you create your reality. So you create your reality with your emotions, your sense of self, and your perception of the world. So what does that really mean? It means there is a distortion that comes from within, right? And how do you respond to that distortion, meaning the anger that comes up when your partner acts in a way that makes you feel less than, or when your business deal fails, or when somebody judges you harshly and imperfectly. So you create your reality on how do you respond to the inner distortion and to the external distortion that comes at you. If you respond with wisdom, insight, loving kindness to yourself, and clear perception of what's really happening, you create a better reality. You create a better 2016. So we're going to look at how to do that a lot better. And I just want to give a shout out to my 5 spiritual laws and how they can help you understand how to shape the fabric of reality, how to change and the negative reality before you and manifest a better 2016. And there's a handout that I'll make available to you that summarizes all 5 spiritual laws, and also again, the opportunity at the end of the training to have a special bonus package around those spiritual laws. So in essence, what I'm saying, if you shift your consciousness, you shift your reality. Or as Einstein said, no problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created that problem. So in the plan, we're going to be looking at how do you shift your consciousness and thus shift your reality. So now we're going to take time to actually write down the plan. And I want you to fold the paper in half, the long ways down, so that there's 2 columns. And the first part of the plan will be filling out the first column, where we kind of assess 2015. And the second column will be dealing with how do we create the plan for a better 2016. So I want you to take time to really grab your pen and paper, a couple pieces of paper, and in the replay you'll be able to go at your own pace. So I'm going to pause and give you time to write things down now, but I want to encourage you to know that you will get the replay and you can go at your own pace. So number 1, I want you to put a 1 there, and I want you to say and list your 2015 successes. And the reason why it's so important you outline your successes is that the way the brain and body works is we are hyper aroused to look at what we've done wrong, but we're not always programmed in our brain and body system to really take in the successes. For instance, 2015 was a really, really, really difficult year for me, where I tackled a lot of difficult goals. And, until I actually sat down and said, wow, what have I done right in 2015? Did I realize that it was hard, but I actually made huge progress in dealing with some things that I had been wanting to address and deal with for most of my life in some cases, and others, like I started online classes, and I had been wanting to do that for probably about 7 years and talking about it, but I couldn't actually create it until I did this year. So take in your successes. And then I want you to write down and really be as specific as possible. What are your bigger self aspects that created those successes? Like for me, it was resilience. It was dogged determination. I had to learn how to do computer stuff and all sorts of challenging things that I'm just not gifted at. And it took resilience and dogged determination and deep, strong alignment of my intention. So those are my bigger self aspects that led to my successes in 2015. What were your bigger self aspects? Was it creativity? Was it internal intuition that you followed? Was it a sense of kindness and compassion? Was it wisdom? Was it having a lot of energy to push the rock up the hill, so to say? What was it that really were part of your core qualities? I call them the core being qualities that led towards your successes, right? And what were your so-called disappointments and failures in 2015? And by failures, I really want you to understand that we're looking at them because it is kind of like a red flag saying, look at this, there's something you need to learn from it. So it's vital you understand and you delineate and list the failures. For instance, for me, it would be I failed to really get the details of things at a very finite level. And I have to be curious about that. Why is that an indicator of something I need to learn? So write down the so-called failures and disappointments for you in 2015. Be a relationship challenge, a health challenge, a career challenge, or an abundance issue. What are they? Then I want you to also write down on that left-hand column, what false sense of self and defensive reactivity played a role in those failures. Just as we looked at how your bigger self gifts played a role in your successes, how did your false self and ego, defensive reactivity, and your lack of gifts, your learning aspects, the things you need to learn and grow with, played a role in those failures and disappointments? For me, I said, lack of details. I really understand that my skill level for dealing with subtle, tangible details is lacking. For instance, when I did this webinar and I did the slides for it, it took an inordinate amount of time not to have typos in it and deal with how it looked and presented in terms of its appearance. Those are not things that come naturally to me. Computers and technology is really, really, really something that's very difficult for me. And so I have to look at what I'm not good at in order to get better. That's what I'm asking you to do. And then I want to add, a sub-component to that and have you look at maybe even the roots of why you're not good at it. Like for me, my family had this great appearance on the outside. It looked so perfect, so detailed, so pretty, yet the essence of what was going on behind closed doors was pretty ugly and awful. So I kind of structured my life to deal with the essence and not how I presented myself to the world. Yet running a business and an online aspect of the business, I have to care more about how pretty I look to the world. So I had to really look at what was the wounding that created that lack of gift. So I want to encourage you to add a sub aspect to number 4. All right, guys. Now I want to look at the right-hand column. And again, feel free to do the replay at any pace that you want. And I will send it to you after the webinar is over. So in the right column, I want you to really be clear about your intentions for creation of success in 2016. So again, the left column is about 2015, and the right column is what we're going to really put in your mind, energy, and body system to manifest in 2016. So I want you to really clearly write out your intentions for creating success. So obviously for mine, it will be really looking at upgrading how I present myself to the world in terms of the appearance and the look. Yeah. And I'm going to really embody more success in overcoming my technical challenges, my challenges with seeing details and, the minute structure of things that launch my business. So what are your successes in relationship, in health, and in, career and abundance issues? For me, because I put so much energy into my business, I can put less energy into self-care. So I'm really aligning to take care of my physical body and my physical health in the upcoming year. That was not an intention for 2015. In fact, I had a clear intention in 2015 is giving myself some leeway on that topic. But I have to really bring it back into alignment in 2016. So what are you going to bring back into alignment in terms of your intentions for creating success? Then I want you to really outline what are your strong qualities that will help you. Like I love to exercise and I love physical movement, and that really helps me embody that self-care issue. I have some real strong qualities of positive intention and strength to move forward and connection to my true self, my core being. Those are the qualities that will help me move forward and manifesting those in 2016. What are yours? And kind of in line with that, in number 3 in the column across, I want you to write down what are your negative patterns that could get in the way. For instance, I need to care more about how I present. I need to develop the skill set of looking at details, of catching even typos that get in my way of presentation. And in terms of my self-care, I have to really look at, what within me is going to enjoy eating more healthy. I love to exercise, but I need to really eat even more healthy. I tend to be more like a lion. I don't eat all day. I get famished and then I'll finally eat. And I need to, shift that and eat healthier throughout the day instead of, you know, avoiding food altogether. So, what negative patterns could get in your way? And when we put them into the energetic grid, we're not going to put the negative patterns into that grid and that energy system, that mind, energy, and body system. But you are going to put alignment to make success and movement, forward movement on healing the negative patterns. Because again, you can't manifest what you want if you don't change who you are. You guys get that, right? What does Einstein say? if if you do, you have to change the consciousness. You can't solve the problem with the same consciousness that created it. So you have to change. You really have to change in order to change your successes, to manifest something better. Praying and spiritual alignment is just part of it, but you have to look at that wall that prevents you from manifesting what you want. So what are your negative patterns that could get in the way? And what are your false sense of self, that ego defenses that fuel the negative patterns? And again, I want you to include, what is the wounding that fueled those negative patterns that got in the way? Link it to the past. What feeds the false sense of self? What feeds the ego defenses? Yeah, and I gave you an example of how what fed my negative aspects were, looking pretty in my family to the outside world felt like it was a lie, right? That looking pretty didn't mean anything to me because what was going on beyond that facade. And then I'm learning that I have to care about not a facade, but have my true essence match how I present to the world. So what are your negative false ego patterns and defenses that can get in the way? And now I want to be even more specific. And this is not in any column. Well, you can put it in the right-hand column, really. But I want you to add a number 5 where you more specifically list your internal work that you need to do to achieve the shifts in success. And again, if you have questions at the end of this, just email your questions because I really want to help you understand those internal work that you need to do to achieve your success. Because if we don't know what needs to shift, then we don't know where we're going. If we don't know the wall in our way, then we can't go through and transform that wall. Okay, now that you have the plan written down, we want to take that to the embodiment of the mind, energy, and body systems. How do you bring that into your energy field? So I can't teach you everything in an hour webinar, but I am going to teach you some aspects of the energy field to bring it into. So this energy I call manifesting energy. I learned it from Barbara Brennan. She calls it the Hara line. It's the dimension of intention, and it's my experience of it. It's very magnetic energy. You think about two magnets that pull to connect to each other. Well, energy pulls to connect to what we want to manifest and create in our life based on really strong, clear intentions. And so I'm going to ask you to really feel and really read the right-hand column of what you want to manifest in 2016. But before we do that, I want you to really take a moment right now and just look at the successes that you created in 2015. And really kind of breathe into your physical body and feel how your alignment of this magnetic, strong earth energy was so deeply aligned that you created those successes. So right now, put one hand on your heart, one on your second chakra, and really breathe in and go, wow, I can really name, own, and claim the successes I created for myself in 2015. Connecting breath with awareness, and really take a moment to pause and give yourself credit for those successes. And this is a good thing to do, a couple times a day today. Pause and really take in successes and repeat this part of the webinar a couple times a day for the next couple days, just to anchor it in deeper. So really bringing, connecting, breathing in, giving yourself credit for the successes. And then look at number 1 of the right column of what your intentions are around creating in 2016. And I want you to kind of feel in your body those things have already happened and link it to an emotion. They have happened, and feel the joy of that completion. And then open your eyes, and I want to play this video here for you of how the broken intention line can then realign. So the breaks in that line are symbolic of negative emotions or negative intentions that could prevent you from achieving that outcome you want in 2016. So I want you to kind of imagine a line connecting heaven through the top of the head, through the center of the body, out the root chakra or perineum, into the center of the earth. And I want you to imagine that line really strong, that all those 2016 intentions have been achieved. So I want you to imagine right now, imagine a line connecting from heaven through the top of the head to the center of the neck. Imagine it, that pull of two magnets, a strong line. From the center of the neck to the center of the chest, you've already succeeded. You've already achieved your accomplishments in 2016. It's done, and you're feeling the emotion of having it done. Center of the chest to the center of the pelvis, to the center of the earth. Just imagine that line, like in the picture here. And again, you'll have the replay so you can play this again and again. Really feel the emotion of success along with the physical sensation and imagery of that aligned intention being successful for your 2016 intentions. Connecting breath with awareness, really feeling that align in that intention dimension, or as Barbara Brennan calls it, the Hara dimension. The energy of magnetic intention manifesting, bringing to you exactly what you align to create in 2016. Now I want to show you the grid. This is a picture of a misaligned grid that isn't going to achieve anything, and then the video of that grid realigning. It's the shopping cart you're going to put in your intentions. So I want you to visualize that grid around you. And imagine in that grid you have your successes. For me it would be, I have already manifested better health for myself this year, and I can visualize what that looks like. I can also manage that up level in my business and how I present it to the world. What are the things you put on your list that you're going to imagine in the shopping cart, that net of your grid? Just picture it as images, things in your shopping cart of things you'll accomplish, relationship, career, abundance. I had a client once imagine gold chips, gold coins, and ironically, she inherited through a great aunt that she didn't even know very well. Yeah, 100 grand the next day. This is powerful stuff. Let it happen for you. Imagine it strongly in that grid. Connecting breath with awareness. Imagine it. Feel the emotion of having received it. Really aligning. Really cool. Really good, guys. Wow, really good. I can even feel the energy from here. Really good. So, remember how I talked about how the emotional body can get in the way? So, I want you to imagine a clean emotional body. This picture is of the darkness that can happen in your emotional body. I want you to imagine any negative beliefs, false sense of self. First, I want you to imagine it in your body. Find where you hold your false sense of self, your self-doubt, your sabotaging behaviors, and your negative patterns. A lot of people, just to help you out, hold them in their throat, their heart, and their stomach area. Those are really key places. So if you're not sure where you might energetically hold those negative patterns in your energy field, just imagine, clouds in those areas turning to light, and watch this video of the transformation process. And it transforms not only energetically, but in your mind and body systems back to light. So right now, I want you to imagine those aspects that you put in number 2, 3, and 4 in the right-hand column. The things that are your growth opportunities and your gifts. Imagine the darkness turning to light. And imagine lightness coming to your air. So put, one hand on your heart, one on your second chakra where your pelvis is. Just imagine the light changing, transforming your false beliefs, your sabotaging behaviors, your negative patterns, your wounded sense of self. Yes, it's really about receiving that transformation, front, back, top, bottom, left, right. Really receive it in. Again, connecting breath with awareness, receiving in that transformation. And all the things you're aligning to really make inchworm progress, that tortoise progress in your self-growth, really receiving that in, that change, that transformation. Really, really good. Really, really good. And so I want you to repeat this process a few times, as I mentioned before, because there is this biological truth of how the brain and body system, and it can go to a negative template too easily. And so there's also, on the positive aspect, something called neuroplasticity. And that's the opportunity for rewiring the negative into a positive. And that's why I want to encourage you to kind of play this webinar. You'll have access to it for a while, so play it over throughout the year so that you can really embody the changes you want to create in your mind, energy, and body system, if you feel it energetically, and if you feel it as a sensation energetically in the body and an emotion, that means you're changing all three mind, energy, and body systems back to wholeness. Because our negative wiring can be like, imagine wet cement and somebody putting a handprint in the wet cement and the cement dries. So that dried handprint is pretty solid, right? And so you have this solid handprint of some negative wiring. Like for me, the challenge of dealing with details is a negative wiring that is a solid imprint in cement, metaphorically for me. And so when I align my mind, energy, and body systems and really work at that quantum energetic level, what happens to that hard handprint in the dry cement is it remodels and the cement becomes wet and malleable and able to reform to a higher consciousness, a higher reality. So in essence, what I'm teaching you is how do you change that fabric of reality, that remodel your sense of self, your false sense of self to a positive sense of self, your negative habituated patterns into positive actions and patterns and emotions. And you do that by really feeling the changes happen in your energetic emotional body, in that energetic grid, and in that intention line, those three energy systems I showed you. So you can go a long way of melting the hardness of the negative template, the negative mold of your reality in life by coming down to that quantum energy level, feeling the shift as an emotion and sensation in the body. I've seen people heal cancer in one session. I've seen people, like that one client that manifested all those gold coins through an inheritance. I've seen people heal broken marriages that they thought could never heal. So I want you to really open to the limitless possibilities available to you as you get deeper and more profound skills of transforming all three mind, energy, and body systems and really create an embodied and a magnificent 2016. And I want to be there to support you. So let's just review some of the main key points. You can have transformation skills where the negative becomes a wisdom learning lesson and a false sense of self becomes an embodiment of your wholeness. And to do this, you need to learn how to feel it as a sensation and emotion in the body. Key 2, there's always going to be a wall, hidden energy and negative beliefs, false sense of self that holds you back. Yet as you become aware of them, as we have done to a large part today, you can then transform them. Awareness is step 1 of the 5 steps I teach. Key 3, it's really important to get the lesson. You can't just identify, oh, I'm doing this wrong or this is bad about me. What is the lesson? And as you embody the lesson and the wisdom, you can then bring it into a conscious reality where change is more possible. The other thing I want to remind you is what you focus on grows. If you only focus on what you do wrong, that's going to get in the way. You have to really take in your successes. But if you only look at successes and don't look at the lesson and get the lesson, that's going to get in the way. And one of my most passionate topics is how do you look at the negative in a way that it transforms? Again, let me help you and show up for you so that you can learn transformation skills instead of just processing things to death. I don't like processed food. I certainly don't want to process my emotions and negative beliefs to death. I want to actually transform that quantum reality so I create a better reality, awaken to the endless possibilities available for me. So yes, I do want to focus on what I'm doing right, but I don't want to ignore what I'm doing wrong. Key 5, move through the story of the past. It can't define you. The story of the past too often defines your false sense of self. You've got to learn how to move through that and embody a new story, a new sense of self. And that takes self-love and personal power, right? In the 2016 energies coming to Earth, there's going to be a lot of darkness that you're going to have to face. And if you face it from defensive reactivity and false sense of self, you're going to create more darkness in the world. I want you to do it through self-love and healthy personal power because you've embodied your light, your kindness, yet your strength to say no, set boundaries, and stand up to what is wrong. Sound like a plan? I took this picture when I was on safari in Africa, and I just think it represents the magic here on earth. You know, we are spiritual beings learning to embody more of our wholeness, wisdom, and personal power. And that's a very magical and transformative process. And as you learn to work all three mind, energy, and body systems into one, it really makes life here on earth a playground where successes are not bad, where duality is not so prevalent. You can live in what I call the in-between worlds, the world where darkness can bring more light and light can be embodied more throughout your day. And I'm wishing you so many good things along the way because so often we can feel like we're walking on a tightrope in this earthly dimension where there's no safety net below to catch you. So I want to offer you some bonuses and an opportunity to take this work a little bit deeper. So this awesome webinar bonus is available only in the next couple days. So I want you to take advantage of it actually today. There is a discount on those 5 Spiritual Law Academy I talked to you about. The Academy doesn't start until January 15th, but you have to purchase it in the next couple days. Otherwise, the discount is not going to be available, and the actually academy will not be offered for a period of time. So, you know, you can have a home study program that will bring success to you in 2016. It's regularly $147, but now it's only $97. So let me tell you more about how to get this discount and what you'll get from the academy, the 5 Spiritual Law Academy. In the Academy, you can learn the 5 spiritual laws in this completely virtual, self-paced, home-based training. It's a personalized program and will give you access to the keys you need to let the universe truly support you in 2016. You no longer need to feel buried under the constraints of overwhelm, difficulty, and stress that hold you back and keep you up at night. No longer do you need to feel like a victim to your situation. Instead, you learn how to welcome ease, joy, and well-being into your life. You truly have the power to create what you want. So you'll have home practices. Each module has video meditations, research documentation supporting the science behind this work, personal awakening exercises, plus additional daily practices, home study practices, so you build the skills needed to deepen into your wholeness, your true self. There's also a Facebook community where you can ask questions and share success stories. Additional individualized one-on-one tutorial support directly from me is available. No second-tier teachers are taking this over. I'm teaching it directly. You will learn more about the energy grids, more about the chakras, more about the subtle energies that prevent and provide manifestation. You get those tortoise and hare power skills to move forward in your life. In Module 2, you realize who you really are. And you learn more about Spiritual Law 1, your sense of self creates your reality. In Module 3, you learn about that emotional pain and life challenges happen for you, not to you. And you really understand that you are not your pain, thoughts, or negative emotions. In Module 4, you heal your inner saboteurs and you rewire your brain and body systems that hold you back. You really learn how to melt down and get rid of the wall that prevents you from manifesting what you want. Module 5, you get the gifts of how you can overcome the misfortune that shows up, because there are gifts. Remember I said your failures are not really failures, that they're successes and they can bring wisdom? Well, I help you actually embody that in Module 5. Then in Module 6, you learn how to create the inner authority for positive creation. Remember I said in this year you're going to have to confront some darkness, some negative energy from outside of you and from inside of you. It's going to push your buttons, prevent you from achieving your highest good. Well, you're going to learn how to stand up to that negative darkness and say no to it and embody your inner authority for positive creation and inner power and self-mastery skills. So I want to give you some bonus gifts along the way. And one of the gifts I want to give you is a 30-minute personal phone call with me. It's a $70 value, and you get it absolutely free with this package. I'm also going to give you my manifesto, How Do You Transform Pain to Power, as an ebook, which teaches you the difference between processing emotions and transformation work, where your emotional pain actually transforms, and all 3 mind, energy, and body systems. I'm going to give you a free energy personality assessment that will help you understand what your gifts are and what your challenges are, because we don't always know what our gifts are and we can't always see our challenges. Well, this individualized free energy personality assessment will provide that to you, free of charge. I'll also give you 2 private personalized sessions for the price of 1. And that's a $70 value. So although you just pay $97 for this home study 5 spiritual law program, the bonus packages are $210. So you get higher value than you actually have to pay. And that's really important to me, because I really want to help change the world. And to do that, I want to help you connect to your authentic power and be able to create a better life for yourself. So take advantage of this offer, because there's no risk involved, 100% money back guarantee. And again, how much will this cost me? How do you say yes? Just one payment of $97 at this link. So here's what you do now. You copy this link, you paste it into your browser, and you'll see this. You'll purchase the program. And because this is a limited time offer, you need to really take fast action. So I've really enjoyed this time with you, and I really want to help you take your next step. So please, because I'm not going to offer this much longer. I have other programs that are coming up, and I don't have time to keep this live for very long. So take advantage of this incredible discount and the incredible fast action bonuses that are included in it. I'm sending you so much love and joy along the way. Feel free to email me any questions you have, around the training, and I look forward to really having you claim the special offer of the 5 spiritual laws so that we can continue our work together. Sending you love and joy along the way. Aho.